Hi everybody, it's meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Figured I'd do something a little different today. I took it outside, which is nice. I'm in my backyard. I got the sun hasn't come around to the south side yet, so figured I'd just take it outside and do something a little different. And who knows, maybe I'll take my laptop with me tomorrow morning. I'm going fishing in one of the local ponds. I'm sorry, one of the local rivers, and where they just stocked it with trout. So I'm gonna hope that I get lucky with my friend Mikey Snakes and catch a few things. So let's first of all, let me shrink this so you don't have to look at me in such large fashion, and we can take a look at what's going on weather-wise today. Very nice, beautiful weather. Here we are. We're not even to the lunchtime hour yet, and temperatures are already in the 60s to near 70 in some places in South Jersey, and approaching the upper 60s in southeastern Pennsylvania. Long Island has already got a south wind, and that's going to be problematic today. You'll see how warm it gets. It's in the mid to upper 50s, but it's already a good 5 to 7 degrees cooler than the inland spots. So just going to watch the wind direction. Right now it's pretty light, but if it stays south for the rest of the day, temperatures are probably going to come to a grinding halt at some point. But sometimes that could be it can fool you. The south wind may only be up to just excuse me, allergies, just inland of the coast, and everything else is fine as you work your way inland. When we take a look at the satellite loop this morning, and we'll give you a fresh view and show you that we've got just some few wispy high clouds that kind of went through a little earlier, going by to the north. Otherwise, the weather is pretty quiet up and down the eastern seaboard. We have some thunderstorms to deal with today around the Great Lakes and also in parts of Texas, where the Storm Prediction Center's got a slight risk for severe weather. But it doesn't look like any kind of widespread outbreak because weather systems are pretty weak for the most part. And when we look out in the west, it's a little hard for me to see everything out here. But when we look out in the on the western satellite loop, we've got this storm that's moved into the northwest, moisture lifting northward, and we've got some more moisture here building up in the Pacific that's heading for California. And in the meantime, we're looking at the system in the western Great Lakes that's moving to the northeast, and some of the clouds on the backside of what's down over in Texas. And we'll take a look at what the national radar has to say. Whoops, that's not the national radar. That's today's forecast highs. I'm having trouble seeing my mouse. This is not good. All right, this is what happens when you try to... Where's my mouse? You know what I think we're going to do? We're going to go back inside where the lighting is a little better for me, and we'll finish it up in there. But I wanted at least to get something going outside, so that was a good thing. And okay, so let me get rid of this, and we'll go to this. And we'll refresh it for you. And here's your national radar. So you can see where there's a lot of weather going on. Not in the northwest, in eastern Washington and northern Idaho. You got some showers coming into the coast. Also some showers in parts of South Dakota, and that extends to the east. For the time being, there is some shower and thunderstorm activity going on across parts of Michigan and Wisconsin. Nothing yet has really fired up in Texas. That may not come until later on today and for tonight. As far as the severe weather threat here, maybe more for tonight and tomorrow morning than anything else. So the highs for today, we'll back this up. Let me just put this is today's highs, and middle to upper 70s, even a couple of 80-degree readings. It wouldn't surprise me away from the coast anyway. And when we move on to Tuesday, there's a larger swath of 80-degree plus temperatures from Virginia over through Maryland and Delaware, and then on up through New Jersey, just inland of the coast. So basically just east of the Garden State Parkway, temperatures are going to be cooler on Long Island, cooler on the south-facing shores of Connecticut. So that's just, this is the time of year where you got that ocean wind is going to be always problematic with regards to the sea breeze and everything else that you got to deal with. I'm sorry, let me just bear with me here. And there we go. I'm a little disorganized today. It's Monday. I'm trying to get things done, and things are not seeming to work in my direction here. For example, it doesn't even want to load the page. Ah, glory, we got it. I apologize for my disorganization today. Sometimes I ad-libbing usually works for me, but sometimes it does run into a problem. Okay, so this was last night's GFS model run. There's just this weather front that's going to approach Wednesday morning in the Northeast, and you can see how showers extend down into Louisiana and Texas. There might be some isolated severe weather with that. I'm not really too worked up about it. There's another storm that's coming in to the coast of Oregon and lifting up northward along the Washington coast, so there'll be more rain and heavy snow out in the west. By the time we get to Thursday, might be some severe weather issues in parts of Oklahoma, and you got showers extending up into the northern plains. The Northeast cooling down a bit with this high that's come building down from the north, but for the most part, the weather is fairly quiet. In the west, a different story, as we have that weather system that's coming into the Pacific Northwest, and the west is going to be busy for a while in this pattern, at least into early next week. There are going to be some chances. Now, with regards to Easter weekend, this is a little problematic. I'm just trying to figure out, what models are actually doing here with regards to this weather front and the warm air that's going to be riding up ahead of it. Sometimes the GFS likes to overdo the moisture that's in the warm air mass. So I'm not so sure how much shower activity is going to be around for Easter weekend, particularly for Easter Sunday. It may not be that bad until Sunday night when the front comes through, and perhaps maybe there'll be a shower or a thunderstorm with that, followed by drier air. But again, you can see going into next week, still a lot of action in the western part of the United States. It just storm after storm in the long range pattern. That has not changed. I think I don't see anything that says it's going to be any different going forward. So we'll just punch up the upper air real quick and take a look and see what that has to offer us. And it's pretty much, let's back it up just a little bit. This is a tough time of year forecast wise, because not too much changes from day to day, and we're not you get into the late fall, winter, and early part of the spring. You got a lot of storms running around, but now things start to really slow down. You can see all the trough that's out in the west. Now, there is a bit of a flow here toward the end of this week. This is some of the cooler air that'll probably come in for Thursday and Friday of this week. The front coming through early on Wednesday. So that explains why we're going to just have a couple of days here of these very warm temperatures. But the ridge does try to pop back up for Easter weekend, only to come down a little bit. But the theme through all of this is out in the west. Now, there is a little blocking high that's developing over Greenland, so that's an interesting development on this model, on the GFS model, going past day 10. Now, whether that translates into more chances for rain here during the last week or so of the month, and maybe some cooler temperatures, that could very well be. We'll have to see how, whether this is just a couple of runs that this is happening and that it, winds up not being the case, or if this is maybe a sign that we're going to have a bit of a pattern flip in the east. So we'll leave it at there. Sorry for the kind of disjointed, disorganized view this morning, but like I said, it's Monday, coming off a very nice, beautiful Sunday, and we've got a great couple of days ahead here.